I'm going to start the lecture recording for DRFT131. Today, we're just going to look at the homework. First, let's look at just the schedule. And yes, we're just going to do a review of the homework, and then that'll be all. I'll be after the homework, which is really easy to do. I'll do a demonstration of how to do one of the windows in our project, and then that'll be it. So remember, we are going to finish the project that we're doing by next week, and then the week after, we'll start the final project. And then we're almost done. 2 more weeks and done with the class. And by the way, today, the new release of AutoCAD came out today, AutoCAD 2022. So pretty interesting. And let's look at our homework was just to create a couple of objects. All right, so remember the helix tool is found under draw. And when using the helix tool, you need to select a center point at the base and a diameter at the base, and then a center point, a diameter at the top as well, and then a height. And that's it. So now with this, you can use a sweep object to create an object with the helix tool. There are several properties that you can modify on the helix, so you can find them in the properties as well. One of the most important ones is how many turns you have. Right now we have 3, but we could modify that there, right? And so that's very dynamic in the way that it works. And that's a helix object. Next one was to create a loft object. And so the loft is also very simple to create. Remember that the loft talks about or is all about creating blend shape. It's a shape that blends profiles, and we can have multiple profiles to be blended. And so typically what I'll do is to create one profile, and then we can modify that profile And then we can blend those using the loft tool, right? In essence, that's what loft can do. Right? So it's a pretty simple process, but really useful. In both of them, we have used the sweep tool, right? Sweep, um, one of the 3D profile creating tools, allows us to um, sweep a profile along a path. And then finally, the other object that you needed to create that was the revolve. And for that, I like to go to we had created one before. Let's try to do another one here. And so I'm going to draw a couple lines. And maybe we do something like that. And now we create a polyline out of this object. And now I'm going to join it. Oh, sorry. I don't want to close it. Undo. I don't want to close. I just need just one basic polyline. Okay. And then we're going to revolve it. On this axis. And we do 360 degrees. And now we've got that object. Right? Got a nice little table there or something like that, with the profile being revolved around the axis. So those are tools that we should be very familiar with right now, because they allow us to create more complex objects. And so what I'm going to do now here is two things. First, I'm going to create a mullion that goes in the middle of this window, and then we'll create a glass surface. And so, but first I'm going to do the same I did last time, and then which is join and create a new object. So I'm going to modify the UCS here and place the UCS right on the object, X and Y. And so now my UCS is right there, and we're going to do a polyline. And a rectangular polyline. And now we're going to extrude that polyline by 6 inches. That fills that cavity, and I'm going to union that with this. Okay, so now that's just one object. And now that I have that, I could use press pull here, but I'm not going to do that because this window is kind of complex in the shape it's got. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to actually create two different rectangles. And let's see if we can go to the conceptual, to the wireframe, because it might be a better view to create that. And so I'm going to select this one and then that one. Okay. And I'm going to do the same right here. Because it's not aligned really with in the original drawing. I'm going to align it in this drawing. Okay, so now that we have that polyline, I am going to use that to do a press pull. And I am going to turn off this layer, place this object in a different layer, and now turn it off. And so this is layer 1. And use this to create the press pull. And so let's do that. Press. And by doing that, I created this mullion here in the center, which divides the two windows that I wanted to create. Now, I still have the polyline here and the polyline there. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a couple of objects here that I'm going to sweep around that particular polyline. And so I am going to create, this is 6 inches. And so I'm going to do this, ECS plan, and then rectangle. And this little rectangle is going to be 6. I'm going to do less than 6, 5.5. So right, and there it is. I'm going to rotate that using the rotate gizmo up and sideways. Once that's done there, I am going to bring that to this point. And let's do a wireframe view first. And we see that object there. I'm going to move it 0.25 or 1/4. No, actually, I could move it all the way there. And then we're going to do a sweep. So I'm going to do sweep and see how that goes. Sweep this object, enter along this path, and enter. Let's see what we got. And yeah, that's fine. But I'm going to have to move it backwards. from here to there. Maybe not. So I'm not really sure what's happening here, but we're gonna do, no, it is fine. It is in the right place. And that's the frame for that particular window. I can do the same here on the other side. So one of the ways to do that is to actually copy that object before you do that. There. So I'm going to copy this here also. And now we do the sweep. This object, enter along this path. Okay, and we'll do the same in this one. Sweep this object, enter along this path. And we're just gonna move it from the top to the end. Great, so we now have that particular object created there. And now the next thing that I like to do is to actually create a piece of glass in the center of this. And so for that, once again, what you can do is create just a polyline. So I'm going to go back to the wireframe view, and then I am going to create a rectangular polyline up here. So from the center to, and I need to place the UCS again because I lost it by moving around. And so let's place the UCS right here and up. And so now rectangle. Like that. And we can now extrude that particular object. And to give it some thickness, I'm going to do 1/4. It may not need to be 1/4, but that it's going to give it some and there it is. So let's copy that here so you can see it. And that's what I'm going to use as the piece of glass. And so now, as you advance with this project, make sure to start creating materials for it. So to create materials, we go to the material browser. This is going to come up here. And then just look for the material at the top here. Let's use maybe a blue glass or a green glass. And we just drag that onto the object. In order for us to see that, we will need to make a realistic view. And now you can see that that's glass, as opposed to that object that is just a piece of material. Let's do yellow. There we go. Amber. There we go. And so that will be the process to start creating more of that texture as you go. One other thing that I want to do on this window is to create a frame, a trim around it. I don't think the original drawing that I had a trim, but we'll find out. I'm gonna go back to layer one. Oh, it does have it. And so I am going to make sure that my UCS is again on this object, X and Y, and then I am going to do a press pull, and we did, I think we did 1/4. Oh no, 3/4. So press pull. There we go. No. There are too many objects here trying to do that. So see, that one got just created. So let's do it again. But maybe what I do instead of trying to press pull that object is there are too many objects here. Well, I could do this, edit the block. And then here, I'm going to delete these lines. And finish. And close it. And now let's try to do it again. 3D 3-point UCS right on the corner, X and Y. And now closer to that, we'll do press pull. Press pull is always difficult to do because of the elements that need to be there. So, and I need to be precisely on the work plane. So let's move the work plane again and see if that's what's happening here. And now let's do press pull. No, still not. So that's not going to be the way to do that. And that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this object to the side. And then create a polyline here. You see it's right on the object. Oh, it still had double lines there. And now we'll do this one. And then we'll do this one. And then this one. And now that we have that, we can try to create the press pull with these objects. And we're going to do 0.75. Once that's done, then I can just move it back. Okay, let's do a wireframe view. And concept. Right, and so we can see how that's starting to come up as a more finalized drawing. I'm going to go back to realistic, and now let's turn off that layer. And you can see the different parts of that particular window is starting to come together. Right, so that's all for today. Thank you very much for being here. I will see you next time. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.